This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the town of North Haven.
Good evening. I'd like to call the May 28, 2019 North Haven Fire Commission meeting to order. I'd like everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Before we begin our agenda this evening, we have a presentation that is going to be made by Ray Fowler. Please, Mr. Fowler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pete says I can't sit down, I have to stand up. So
Is that what he said?
I'm standing up.
And you know we all listen to Pete.
Of course, we have to. We have a choice. You know, it's nice to know, when you reach my age, that you still have friends. And I've been retired from the Marine Corps now for 27 years. But last Friday, something arrived in the mail, and to be perfectly honest with you, I was going to keep it. But then I said, no, it's too nice for me to keep. And I couldn't think of any place better to donate it than the North Haven Fire Department. What it is, it's an American flag, and it contains the names of every single first responder that died on 9/11.
Oh, wow. Isn't that beautiful?
And that's everyone from fire department, primarily fire department I noticed, fire department, police department, EMTs, and all kinds of other assorted personnel. And I was hoping, it's up to you of course, not up to me, it's up to you, I was hoping you might be able to find some suitable place to mount this and hang it in some fire department building of your choosing. In addition to that, I'll present it to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
In addition to that, and I don't know how I pull this one off, I really don't, I'm still scratching my head over this one. I didn't think I had enough horsepower to get this. But this is a very highly controlled item. So I hope you'll find some place to keep it safe. I thought maybe if you frame the flag, you could put this in there with it. This is the 9/11 Heroes Medal. It was distributed by the Department of Transportation. Why the Department of Transportation? I have no idea. But it was issued by them. It has inscriptions on both the front and the back. As I say, it's a very highly controlled item. It was only issued to first responders who were there on 9/11, including every name on that flag. They got one too. So, here you go.
Thank you very much. I assure you that the flag and the medal will be hung in a place of honor in our department. Chief?
You got it, will do. Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Thank you.
I'll beg to be excused.
Please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yep.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks again, all right?
Thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you very much. I'd like to ask for the approval of the minutes of the Board of Fire Commission meeting held on April 23rd, 2019.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any question on the motion? All in favor? Opposed? So moved. The chief's report.
Chief's report for this month. Our year-to-date for calls, as of this time last year, we were at 1906. As of this year, we're at 1829, difference of 77 alarms. 5 years ago, we were at 2,000. And 5 years ago, in 2014, we're at 1,684 alarms, a difference of 222 alarms. Since our last Board of Fire Commission meeting, the fire department has assisted into the hospital on 17 different occasions with our paramedic. We've had 20 responses to the highway, and 67% of our incidents were EMS related. Since our last meeting as well, there were 3 incidents in which the FD experienced a delay in response to a medical incident or motor vehicle accident, and 6 incidents, medical again, or motor vehicle accidents in which the FD had no apparatus to send at all, meaning that the ambulance company responded solo. So a total of 9 incidents. Approximately 441 incidents since our last meeting, 103 of which were overlapping, which accounts for 23%. Regarding our budget, this time last year, we're at 97.8%. As of current day, we're at 97.2%. And since our last meeting, we've collected $27,608 in permit fees, bringing our total this fiscal year to $468,408. Regarding the fire marshal's office, 57 inspections on top of 10 re-inspections for a total of 67. There are 23 code violations, 15 of which have since been corrected. We've issued 2 abatement orders, and we reviewed 72 different plan reviews or permits. Training over the last month has accounted for mainly various hose deployment procedures, Mayday procedures. We've been practicing tower operations and hydrant maintenance. This time of year, we're able to get out and start taking care of some of the hydrants in town that are a responsibility of the fire department to maintain, service, and paint. Other than that, I have a few items for executive session, and that's all I have for a chief's report.
Any questions of the chief regarding his report? Here are none. I'll accept the motion to accept.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Correspondence. Chief?
I have one item that's not on the agenda that I was just made aware of Friday. This agenda had to be posted Friday because of the holiday, and I was notified of this recently. The New York State Association of Fire Chiefs is having their annual memorial service held in conjunction with their annual conference. It takes place on June 13th at 10 a.m. and it's taking place in Syracuse, New York. The significance of this event for us is that they are going to honor past member Steve Coulon during the service. So there'll be a small contingency of the department that will be going to Syracuse during the Mass and attending a portion of the conference to recognize Steve Coulon. His family has been made aware of it as well and is trying to make plans to attend. And that's the only thing I had for correspondence since this agenda was put together.
Have any commissioners received any verbal or written communication? I'd like to read a communication that I forwarded out as a press release. North Haven Fire Department press release for immediate release. Contact person myself is Chairman Pasquale Nazzolillo, Board of Fire Commissioners, May 20th, 2019. I'm proud to announce that Fire Chief Paul Januszewski has been awarded a certification from the National Fire Academy as an Executive Fire Officer. Chief Januszewski's ongoing commitment to learning and improving is remarkable. Our town, the residents, and all its visitors are the beneficiaries of his leadership as he continues to educate himself and others in the area of fire and emergency services. Chief Januszewski began the 4-year EFO program in 2015. He completed a series of 3 graduate-level research papers which were published, and during the 4th year had to defend one of his research papers before a review board. The program requires participants to attend a 2-week on-campus course in Maryland each year. Following his attendance during the first 3 years, an applied research project was completed and evaluated for content and relevance to the fire service. Completion of the Executive Fire Officer Program is one of the highest honors and levels of certifications available within the fire and emergency services field. It is a 4-year program designed to enhance professional development and includes a series of graduate level courses which focuses on how the fire command exercises leadership. The Executive Fire Office Program began in 1985 and it is attended by fire service professionals throughout the world. Chief Januszewski is the 47th graduate of the program within the state of Connecticut since that time, and only the second graduate of the program within the North Haven Fire Department. The first graduate of the program was the late Chief John Aubert, who graduated the program in 1992. The AEFO program is funded entirely by FEMA, with no expense having been incurred by the town. This certification complements Chief Januszewski well, as he already holds a Master's of Public Administration, and I have a feeling he isn't done yet. He is now exploring PhD programs or an additional graduate degree. Graduates of the Executive Fire Officers Program are highly sought after by fire departments throughout the nation during recruitment of a fire chief, as the number of graduates throughout the country is relatively small. The town of North Haven is fortunate to have a nationally recognized fire chief commanding our fire department. On behalf of the Board of Fire Commissioners, I congratulate Chief Januszewski for completing the program and looking forward to working with him in the years to come. Chief, congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. To say the least, we're just honored to have a person that has completed the education and has the background and knowledge of the fire department as our leader. And the residents of this town and the business owners and visitors of this town are fortunate to have him as our chief, as we are as commissioners. So again, I appreciate your effort and continued friendship and assistance to us as commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Discussion of unfinished business for the department.
Unfinished business, I have the Connecticut OEMS PSAR hearings listed on your agenda. AMR filed a motion to dismiss our application, which was denied. I have some paperwork I'll hand out to you shortly, just to bring you up to speed on everything that's taken place with that. The application was approved by the region. It was deemed as complete. AMR tried having our application dismissed for a number of procedural and technicality issues. That decision recently came out a couple of days ago that it's denied, and the hearing is on still for Thursday and Friday this week. We're expecting 2 full days of hearings, and we're expecting potentially additional hearing dates to be provided as of Friday. And we hope to, be successful, and it's going to be, I still expect this to be a 12 to 18 month endeavor for us through completion. So that's all I'm going to say at that point. I can tell you that AMR is watching every one of our meetings, and I'm sure, as you'll see, if you look through this paperwork I'll give you later, you'll be surprised. Regarding our AFG application, we continue to await the response from FEMA on both grants. Again, we're waiting on the grant for the engine and the grant for the PPE, so we hope to hear something soon, but again, I don't typically expect to hear anything until midsummer, and it can go as late as September in some cases. Our training facility here at Northeast, the landscaping is nearly complete in the back. They cleaned up a lot of the trees and so forth that were a hazard to anybody that was back there, and the architectural firm is working on design and doing some site testing to determine how deep the foundation has to be, and I really hope that we're going to have some plans for you soon. Replacement damaged equipment from the Parker Hannafin fire, which we had as number 184176. We continue to work with the town insurance company on reimbursement. At this point, there is no further paperwork that the insurance companies are waiting on from the department or from the town that I'm aware of. We've submitted everything, and we expect, we've already received some funding back. That is, the town has received some funding back. We're waiting for the rest of the funding to be supplied by another insurance carrier. At first glance, we'll believe it when a check comes in, but at this point, it appears that our only outstanding loss is going to be about $10,000 from what we valued our loss at to what we were reimbursed at. Difference of about $10,000. Keep in mind that at this point, there is still $100,000 out of the fire department budget for that incident that I hope to get put back in before we close out this fiscal year, but that is skewing a little bit the numbers I gave you earlier in our current budget status, because that accounts for that. Regarding the purchase of a new engine, with your permission, I'm just going to kind of leave this as it was last month. It's nothing different. This stuff takes a while. It's 11 to 13 months for this to get built. I'll just notify the commission moving forward over the next year when we do our various meetings, if that's okay. So there'll be a pre-con, a mid-con, and a final meeting, and those will be scheduled accordingly with construction. But otherwise, there's really not going to be a lot to report other than they're building it. Regarding our fire recruitment video for the volunteers, that is still under development. I spoke with the member who is piloting that, and he's got a number of plans and scenarios put together, and we hope to have that soon as we continue to experience the good weather that we are. It'll allow him to do what he has to do. And that's all I have for unfinished business.
Any questions of the chief regarding unfinished business? Chief, there's one comment. I've seen on television some advertisements for volunteers on a national level, which I thought was very interesting. Obviously, we're not the only department that is having difficulty bringing volunteers on board. So that national recruitment of volunteers is ongoing, and I don't know who's underwriting that cost, if it's just a public service announcement, but sure. I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, so it's part of an Everyday Hero campaign, and the state received some funding from the federal government to sponsor that. We participate. It's a multi-year project. We participated in the past with open houses in conjunction with a number of departments throughout the state at the same date and time. We haven't had very good attendance with that, but we are still continuing with the advertising and the social media blasts that are out there. One was posted to our page recently, which we're trying to, when you look at recruiting volunteers, you're kind of going for that millennial generation that's really getting their news and their information from social media sites, and that's where even this video that's being created is going to be kind of centered towards. We're doing okay overall. Just one thing to keep in mind, I think the commission just take a look at the newspapers and so forth when you can, is there's a lot of departments in the state right now that are getting caught in a rough spot with their volunteers because an FLSA ruling recently came out, and what they're saying is that volunteers who are so there's a lot of departments out there that haven't quite taken the step of hiring career firefighters, and/or they've only got a few that they've agreed to pay, and they're relying on volunteers on the rest of the time of the week. There was a recent hearing through the FLSA that said that that's not allowed any longer. You're either paid to do a job or you're not. You can't be doing the same job one day, getting paid for it, and doing the same job the next day and volunteering. So you're seeing a lot of things out in the media right now in recent weeks where there's a lot of departments that are really caught right now because they can't do that anymore. And so some of what you're seeing is exasperated by the issues that these departments are having, where now they need to hire full-time staff and they can't just pay their volunteers a wage anymore to come in on a Saturday night when there's few volunteers, let's say. So you're seeing a lot of that happen right now. It's going to be a big push.
Interesting. One other question. My expectation is the $10,000 differential in between what the insurance company has paid us on that the equipment alarm 184176. The $10,000 differential is due to depreciation, I'm assuming.
It's actually our deductible.
Or it's our deductible? Okay. I wasn't sure if it was depreciation or a deductible. Thank you for that explanation. Thank you. Any other questions of the chief? Hearing none, and we'll move on to the discussion of new business for the fire department.
So meeting dates for 2020, you should have. We just need to get those out to the town, make sure there's no conflict with any of the commissioners that you're aware of at this point, or
Okay.
anything that we may have missed, but we need to get that to the town within the next week or two.
Okay, is a motion necessary for this, as far as the dates and times are concerned?
I don't believe a motion is necessary,
Okay.
no. No, we're just
Okay.
going to publish it.
Okay. Next is the good of the fire department.
Go to the department, you have before you as well a flyer for a picnic coming up that Company 2, the Association of Monowese, is hosting. And during that time, they're also going to do dedication ceremonies for past members Steve Coulon and Howie Capetta at 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. respectively for those two. And they're really encouraging past members to attend, and we look forward to that, and we hope it's going to be good weather. The other item I have listed on your agenda is Bike Helmet Safety Day, which the union Local 2087 is hosting, and they've done so for probably the last 40 years. And they'll be doing that again on June 1st. It's a great event. I'd ask all the commissioners to pop by if they have some time, but they do a good job of providing bicycle helmets and doing an open house at the same time.
I certainly have one item that I'd like to discuss. It is now the 8th anniversary of the addition of our fire chaplain to our fire department. 8 years ago, coming up next week, Chief Landisio came to this commission and recommended that we resurrect the fire chaplain position for our department. Jim Detweiler, the pastor at Hope Church, volunteered to be that person. Over the last 8 years, Chaplain Detweiler has touched the hearts of many that were in need at the time of their need. It's deeply appreciated, the work and effort and the spiritual leadership that you've provided, not only the residents and business owners and visitors of our town, but our department members and their families. So, Chaplain Detweiler, we thank you for your dedication and your service and your 8th year anniversary. You're going to be recruited for another 8 years at least at the same pay. So, so thank you very much. We appreciate it. Public comments. I see we have a sparse crowd here this evening. Any public comments? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. I'd like to reconvene the North Haven Fire Commission meeting for May 28, 2019. We have two motions that need to be made. We're going to start off with Commissioner Mulligan.
I'd like to make a motion to accept Vincent Williams and Stephen Gomes as probationary members of the West Ridge Company 3, pending national background check effective immediately.
Do I hear a second to the motion? Is there any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Commissioner Criscola.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept Salvatore Carlos as a probationary member of the Northeast Company 4, pending national background check effective immediately.
Do I hear a second to the motion?
Second.
Any question on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Any further business coming before this commission? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Do you want to mention the meeting is early next?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Fire Commission was canceled. The special meeting of the Board of Fire Commission will be Tuesday, June 18th, 2019 at 6 p.m. in the training room at the Northeast Company 4, 366 Washington Avenue, North Haven, Connecticut. I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you very
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.